Years in a row.
Well, it's good to see this quiet weather across the area. This time last night, we were watching severe storms plowing south away from the Kansas City area. And then those ultimately went on to produce severe weather across southwest Missouri. Look at all of the high wind and wind damage reports that came in from last night's storms. And notice the focus, generally along and west of Highway 65 all the way to the Missouri-Kansas border and south down to about the state line. And in this area, over 60 reports of high winds and wind damage. I think the strongest gusts that I saw, 74 miles per hour in Kimberling City, but 60 to 70 mile per hour winds were common with this derecho event that we had last night. Looks like tonight's threat for storms and severe weather and flooding is going to focus further east of Highway 65. We're not really finding anything right now, but this is going to be an area to watch up near I-70 in the Kansas City area. I'm already starting to see a low-level jet starting to strengthen in this area, nosing into this front. So I think that's going to set the stage for thunderstorms to start firing up in this area, up near the Kansas City area along I-70. And then notice all of the instability here over southwest Missouri and northwest and north central Arkansas. So we've got very similar ingredients in place tonight to what we had last night. And I think we are going to find thunderstorms developing to the north and then dropping south and southeast. And there's going to be at least a limited risk of hail and also locally strong winds. Now, if we get more of a line of storms developing, then it looks like the risk for strong winds becomes more widespread and the risk of hail goes down. Looking at our forecast for looks like the next few hours, quiet weather, but by 3 o'clock in the morning, I do expect strong to severe storms to be in the Lake of the Ozarks vicinity. And then this activity is going to want to continue to push south. And we could see a training of thunderstorms over the same areas overnight tonight and into the morning hours on Tuesday. And that's why we have that flood watch in effect for those areas. Again, as we work through the morning through sunrise, you can see at 9 o'clock, this is still a stormy area. And then as we work toward lunchtime, we start seeing that risk for rain fading. And as we get into the afternoon, we should find drier conditions across the area. And like we found today, it's going to be hotter west, a lot hotter than areas off to the east. What about that rainfall? Well, I think with the rain, again, if we get into a scenario where we have thunderstorms or clusters of thunderstorms training or moving over the same locations, we're talking the potential for very heavy rainfall. Maybe a corridor of 1 to 3 inch rainfall totals from, say, Versailles south down toward West Plains. And then within this corridor, we're going to have these narrow stripes where amounts could approach 3 to 5 inches. And it's going to be in those zones where flash flooding is going to be a greater concern. Temperatures tonight, rain cool to the east. And then areas off to the west where we go untouched, it looks like it'll be warmer. Looks like about 77 in Joplin. Tomorrow, we'll see highs ranging from maybe around 100 or near 100 in Joplin, low 90s in Springfield, and then areas off to the east to get worked over by overnight rain and morning rain. Looks like highs in this area generally in the low to mid 80s. And then we do this all over again, I think, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning in generally the same area with generally the same risk of maybe some severe weather and also some flooding concerns. And as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, what we find is that risk is still going to be there. I think basically a warm bubble of air is going to try to build in, try to take over as we work from Wednesday into Thursday. So Thursday may be our day where most areas are dry and most areas are hot. And then the overall upper level pattern starts to break down again Friday into this upcoming weekend. So we start seeing a better chance for more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity. I think it's going to be spotty on Friday, but it becomes more widespread over the weekend. Looks like a more substantial cold front may move through early Sunday, and that will not only help to clear a lot of the rain out, but also clear out some of the humidity and cool things off. It looks like we could be looking at highs in areas that are going to be dealing with highs well into the 90s, dropping into the upper 80s as we get into Sunday and Monday.
Kind of a catch-22 right now. Of course, a lot of crews out there working to restore power. You know, it is clear, it is warm, but at least the clear weather is, you know, not adding to any of their work out there.
And it looks like, you know, tonight's storms aren't going to focus in the same areas as last night's. Last night's west of Highway 65. Tonight's storms look more likely east of Highway 65.
A break for everyone here, for sure. All right.